Here's a little secret about wealth. It's not about what you own. It's about what your money is doing when you're not paying attention. The truth is, most people are filling their lives with things they think are assets, when in reality, those things are slowly draining them dry. We're always told to invest in assets. Sounds simple, right? But let's be honest, most of that advice is confusing. You see people driving flashy cars, rocking expensive watches, and you think, yeah, that's success. But here's the truth. Most of what our culture calls assets are really just money traps. Financial black holes designed to do one thing: drain your bank account. That's why in this video, we're cutting through all the noise. No confusing tears, no jargon that makes your head spin. I'm going to map out every type of investment on one simple tool I call the wealth spectrum. On one side, you'll see the money traps, the things guaranteed to bleed your wallet dry. And on the other side, the wealth machines, the investments that quietly work for you, even while you sleep, building real financial freedom. So here's my promise. Stick with me until the end, and you'll walk away with a crystal clear roadmap. You'll know exactly where to put your money for real returns, how to dodge the biggest risks, and what actually makes you wealthy. All right, let's dive in. 1. The negative end. Money traps. All right, let's start at the far left of the wealth spectrum, what I call the danger zone. This is where we find the money traps. Now, these aren't just bad investments. They're arguably the worst investments you can make. Why? Because they're specifically designed to go down in value. They're the black holes of personal finance, pulling your money in, never letting it come back out. Here's how they work. These traps run on what I call the triple threat of wealth destruction. If something you own has even one of these traits, be careful. If it has all three, run. First, guaranteed depreciation. This is when something has a built-in self-destruct button on its price tag. Think about most luxury consumer goods. That beautiful new car? It's not an asset. It's a rapidly depreciating machine. You're not just buying transportation, you're prepaying for a guaranteed financial loss. Same goes for most designer watches, electronics, and fashion. Their primary purpose is consumption, not appreciation. Second, negative cash flow. And this is the part most people completely ignore. A true asset puts money into your pocket. These traps do the opposite. They constantly suck money out. That car doesn't just lose value sitting in your driveway. It's costing you every single month. Insurance, fuel, maintenance, you have to feed it. And all of that is money you could have been investing in something real. And third, statistical impossibility. This is where the lottery and pure gambling live. It's a game with such monumentally bad odds that playing is basically the financial equivalent of setting your money on fire. And it doesn't stop there. This also includes most speculative collectibles. People get caught up in hype, thinking they're investing, but really they're just gambling, hoping someone else will pay more for a trendy item with no underlying value. So here's the shift in mindset that will protect your wealth forever. Stop calling these things assets. They're not. Acknowledge them for what they are: lifestyle expenses. And listen, there's nothing wrong with buying a nice car if you can afford it. Enjoy it. But you have to be honest with yourself. In your mind and in your budget, that car isn't an investment. It's pure consumption. The moment you stop lying to yourself about that is the moment you break free from the trap and start directing your money to the right side of the wealth spectrum. 2. The middle ground, the stagnation zone. Okay, moving away from the black holes of finance, we enter the neutral territory, the stagnation zone. The assets here won't destroy your wealth, but let's be very clear. They are not designed to build it either. Their primary job is defense, not offense. This is where you are simply parking your money, trying to protect it from losing purchasing power. The classic example here is commodities, specifically gold and silver. You need to think of gold not as an investment, but as a form of financial insurance. It has been a store of value for 5,000 years for one reason: it doesn't produce anything. That sounds like a weakness, but it's also its strength. It has no CEO, no board of directors, and no country that can print more of it. It just exists. Therefore, when people lose faith in currencies or markets, they run to gold. It's an inflation hedge and a chaos hedge. The problem? Insurance doesn't pay you a dividend. Your pile of gold doesn't create more gold. It's a fantastic tool to preserve wealth in a crisis, but it's a terrible tool for growing it in times of peace and prosperity. Next in this zone are assets where you're essentially renting out your money for a predictable but low fee. When you buy bonds, especially ultra-safe U.S. Treasury bonds, you are lending your money to the government. In return, they pay you a small, fixed interest payment. It's predictable, it's stable, but your upside is permanently capped. Similarly, REITs, real estate investment trusts, allow you to rent out your money to a portfolio of massive properties. You get a slice of the rental income, but you get almost none of the leverage or appreciation that makes individual real estate a potential wealth accelerator. You're a passive participant, not an active owner. So, the crucial takeaway for the stagnation zone is this: these are tools for a specific season in your financial life, typically when you are already wealthy and your primary goal has shifted from growth to preservation. For everyone else still trying to build wealth, spending too much time here means you're leaving massive gains on the table. You're playing defense when you should be on offense. 3. The positive start. The wealth builders. Now we cross the most important line on the wealth spectrum. We are moving from defense to offense. This is where your money stops treading water and starts actively working to build your fortune. Welcome to the wealth builders. If you're serious about achieving financial independence, this is your starting point and your foundation. The undisputed king of this zone is the S&P 500 Index Fund. Now, I know that sounds like boring financial jargon, so let's break down what you are actually buying. When you buy a share of an S&P 500 fund, you are not just buying a piece of the stock market. You are buying a slice of the 500 largest, most powerful, and most profitable companies on planet Earth. You instantly become a part owner of Apple's innovation, Amazon's logistics, and Google's data. You have millions of the world's smartest employees at the most dominant companies working around the clock, every single day, to make your share of the business more valuable. This is the most proven and accessible wealth-building machine in history. You're not just investing. You are harnessing the entire engine of American capitalism for your own benefit. And this machine is powered by the unstoppable force of compounding, which works like a two-stroke engine for your money. Engine 1 is growth. As these 500 companies innovate and sell more, their value goes up, and so does the value of your share. Engine 2 is reinvestment. These companies also generate massive profits, which they often pay out to you as dividends. A good index fund automatically takes those dividends and buys you more shares. Those new shares then grow and earn their own dividends. This cycle, growth creating dividends, which creates more growth, is how a modest investment can snowball into true, long-term wealth over time. It's not exciting, it's not flashy. It is a mathematical certainty. While you can also build your own portfolio of individual dividend-paying stocks, the principle is the same. This zone is your foundation. Before you even think about the get-rich-quick assets on the far right, you build your base here. It's the most reliable, get-rich-slowly machine ever invented, and it's the bedrock of almost every millionaire's portfolio. 4. The far right, the Wealth Accelerators. We have now arrived at the final frontier of the wealth spectrum. This is where fortunes are not just built, but multiplied. These are the Wealth Accelerators. The assets here are not for preserving wealth or even just for growing it steadily. They are for creating exponential, generational wealth. But be warned, with great reward comes great risk. This zone is governed by two powerful forces: leverage and scalability. First, let's talk about leverage. In simple terms, leverage means using other people's money to control an asset far larger than what you could afford on your own. It's a force multiplier for your capital. The most common example is building real estate portfolios. Let's use real numbers. You want to buy a $500,000 property. You don't need $500,000. You put down 20%, which is $100,000. The bank provides the other $400,000. You now control a $500,000 asset with just $100,000 of your own cash. Now, if that property appreciates by just 10% to $550,000, that's a $50,000 gain. For the bank, that's a nice return. But for you? You made $50,000 on your $100,000 investment. That's a 50% return on your cash. That is the explosive power of leverage. This is the same game played at a larger scale with commercial real estate and private equity, where funds use billions in borrowed capital to buy entire companies. The second, and arguably more powerful force, is scalability. Scalability means you can sell something to 10 people, 10,000 people, or 10 million people without a proportional increase in effort. You are breaking the link between your time and the money you earn. This is the world of owning your own business. A restaurant is a business, but its scale is limited by its four walls. A software company is a business that has near infinite scale. This is also the engine behind today's creator economy and scalable digital assets. Think about it. You can write an ebook, create an online course, or film a YouTube video once. That single piece of work can then be sold or viewed millions of times, generating revenue while you sleep. You've built a system that works for you, a machine that clones your value. When you combine leverage or scalability, you unlock the ultimate prize: asymmetric upside. This means your potential for loss is capped. You can only lose what you invested, but your potential for gain is theoretically unlimited. Your startup or high-growth company stock can go to zero, but it could also go 100 times. Your real estate portfolio has risks, but its value can compound for decades. This asymmetry is how true fortunes are made. But it's crucial to remember that this is the expert level. The leverage that magnifies your gains can also magnify your losses. This isn't where you start. This is what you build towards. Okay, we have mapped the entire financial universe, from the traps to the accelerators. But knowledge is useless without action. So, how do you start moving your capital from the left side of this spectrum to the right? Here is your simple 3-step action plan to start tonight. Step 1. Purge the money traps. I want you to perform a simple asset test. Pull up your last 3 months of bank statements. For every single non-essential purchase over, say, $200, ask yourself one brutal question. Was this item engineered to make me money or to cost me money? This isn't about feeling guilty. It's about building awareness. Identify the one biggest depreciating liability you're spending on, a car payment that's too high, a subscription to a luxury you don't use, and make a plan to cut it. That's your first victory. Step 2, automate the wealth builders. This is the single most important action you can take. Your goal is to make wealth building the default. Open a low-cost brokerage account and set up an automatic weekly or monthly transfer into an S&P 500 index fund. It doesn't have to be a lot. $50 a week is a powerful start. By automating it, you remove emotion and effort from the equation. You are paying your future self first, guaranteeing you build wealth over time. Step 3. Plant the accelerator seed. Pick just one area from the far right of the spectrum that genuinely excites you. Starting a side business, investing in real estate, learning about the creator economy, and commit to learning about it for 15 minutes every single day. Read a book, listen to a podcast, watch a tutorial. You're not starting the business tomorrow. You are watering the seed of knowledge that will grow into your future wealth machine. The final takeaway. Building wealth isn't about a secret stock tip or chasing the latest trend. It's about understanding this wealth spectrum. It's about having a map and deliberately moving your money from things engineered to take your wealth to assets designed to build it for you. It's the fundamental shift from being a consumer to being an owner. If this framework gave you clarity, do me a favor and hit that like button and subscribe for more no-nonsense financial content that respects your intelligence. And now, I have a question for you. Which part of the spectrum are you focused on building in right now? Are you automating the wealth builders, or are you planting the seeds for an accelerator? Let me know in the comments below. Keep building.